right over here, I've got two of the older models, Stereo Integrity SQL 15s. I've got Assault 4K. This isn't mine. I got a buddy over here and he is putting this in his badass Cummins truck that he drug out of a field and rebuilt himself. We are pressed for time. We have to work quickly because this truck is scheduled to make an appearance at a truck show and burnout contest, so we have got to hustle. So today we are building a box, not just any box. This is going to be massive. It'll be about 9 cubic feet and we're using some 1 inch thick MDF. This stuff comes in huge 5 foot by 10 foot sheets. They weigh at least 230 pounds. My buddy here broke it down to smaller pieces for transport. We're going to cut it to final dimensions on the table saw. And we're throwing everything at this project, so we're going to definitely use the CNC. We're going to cut some details for the box along with things like the window brace. We'll hit that brace with a round over on the router table. One thing you should do when you build a box is you should start by building what I call a port assembly. This box is going to have a side firing port. And so this piece over here is the sidewall of the enclosure. This back piece is the actual port itself. And then the brace is the exact same dimensions as the sidewall of the enclosure. What that's going to give you is these two parts right here are going to be the exact same size. The port is going to be a perfect 90 degree to those parts, meaning it's going to be square. If you've watched any of my content, you know that I typically use wood glue and brad nails, but this time we're going to throw some screws into the mix. Not because brad nails won't do the trick, but because the material is so heavy that the brads won't be strong enough to hold it together when we move it around during the assembly process. No matter what kind of mechanical fastener you use, after the glue dries, the glue's doing all the hard work. And because this is MDF, we have to pre-drill those screw holes. And what I'm using here is a special type of drill bit. This is a countersink bit, and this will allow our screws to sit flush with the material when we drive our screws. I'll be sure to give you a link to them down in the video description, along with a link to everything else used in the video, like this T-square right here. We're going to pop in some corner 45s and some additional wall bracing on all of the walls to help dampen any panel resonance. And honestly, that bracing is complete overkill with this heavy 1 inch thick MDF. It is some really beastly material. You may have noticed in those last few shots I've been working by myself. That's because we've decided to divide and conquer. Okay, let's check out what's going on inside the truck. We've got Assault 200.2 back here. And we got a big Salt 4K. So the amps are almost ready to go. Now it's time to mount the baffle. While I'm doing that, I want to say thank you to all of my patrons over on Patreon. In addition to behind the scenes content, patrons get their name in the video. You can see them on the screen right now. $25 and up patrons like Jonathan, Joe, Joaquin, JD America, Timothy, and Bo get a bonus shout out in the video. So thank you to all of my patrons. Now this box is far too big to drag over to the router table, so we're grabbing the handheld router and putting a huge round over on the port. This is the best part about this really thick MDF. You can cut a very large radius round over. I think this is a 3/4 inch radius, and still have plenty of material left over when you're done. We're once again dividing up the work. We're gonna cover the box with exo hide, and I'm gonna work on building a terminal cup with a big custom C logo on the side. The original plan was to cover the box in a combination of carpet and vinyl, do some really cool designs, but we are running short on time. We got to get this thing ready for burnouts. Exo Hide is quick and easy, so we're going with Exo Hide. Check this out. This is what happens when you forget to turn on your dust collector. This is going to be a box to hold a giant lithium battery with some C logos cut into the sides and one etched in the clear acrylic top. With that giant lithium battery, there's really no need for a battery under the hood. So the truck's gonna get a battery delete. I've never done a battery delete before, so this is a new experience for me. Apparently it's just as easy as building a box and bolting down where the battery goes. The back seat's been pulled out and replaced with a big flat floor. The amplifiers are mounted underneath that flat floor. The battery is going to go over on the passenger side. Because the box is so heavy, we opted to wait to get the box in the truck before we added the extra weight of those big Stereo Integrity subwoofers. We got a little bit of extra muscle to load the box, and I left it up to the young'uns to do all the heavy lifting. These salt amps have a clip light, so we used the clip light and a test tone to set the gain. Got everything wired up and verified that the subs were playing, and now we are ready to roll. So how does it sound? I don't know how it sounds. We didn't get a chance to test it out or measure it or meter it because it was really late at night when we wrapped the project up and the truck needed to get on the road and go to a burnout competition where this happened. That's the sound of a stock drive shaft giving way to 560 horsepower. When we get a chance, we are going to meter it. I'm excited to see what those big Stereo Integrity 15s can do. And as soon as that's done, we'll put the video right up here. I'm Justin. This is the DIY Audio Guy YouTube channel, and I will see you on the next adventure.